Hi there. So you want to learn photography, but you don't want to spend too much money. I think that's a big problem that every beginner photographer struggles with. And today in my video, I will let you know how you can start your photography journey without breaking the bank. Someone might call them crappy, someone might call them cheap, but at the end of the day, all you will need is something like this over here. This is my uh, trusty Nikon D5300. I've been using this for quite a while, and first of all, just to let you know, I've used it professionally, even though it is an entry-level camera. That's the common misconception about cameras. If they're labeled crop or entry level or whatever, something like that, people think that they cannot use them professionally. The idea is actually that if the photographer is good enough, he can get good images with basically any camera that has manual control and shoots RAW, and of course has a decent megapixel count if you want to print or something like that. By the way, if you don't believe me, there is a really old challenge. I think it's like 3 or 4 years old now. It's called Pro Photographer Cheap Camera. Search it up in YouTube and you're gonna see top-notch photographers taking photos with like now those were crappy cameras, and I mean it, because some of them were even built by Legos and stuff like that. So, or they were toy cameras. The only, I think, rule was that you can take digital photos with it. So, and they took some amazing photos. And I think that if I cannot convince you, this will convince you that you can start your journey with a cheaper camera. You don't need to spend a lot of money on an expensive camera. Of course, they have all the nice features, but most likely you will not need them. You will not use them. Or if you do, you will skip on learning some valuable lessons that you can learn with a camera like this one here. Let's get started with why you need to buy something like this. First of all, of course, money. In the beginning, no one wants to spend a lot of money on a camera while they are learning, because you will not be making any money in the first, I don't know, it depends on how fast you learn, 1 or 2 years, maybe even more. Depends on how much time you can spend with photography. So these cameras nowadays, first of all, because of the mirrorless cameras that are on the market, and they're basically crushing the market right now, DSLRs are getting cheaper, especially second-hand DSLRs, and they're still good actually. You can get something like this for, I don't know, 300 euros with exactly this kit lens that I have on it, and I think this is quite enough to begin. And also it's a pretty attainable sum by most people, because I know maybe a lot of people from different countries are going to see this video. So cheap doesn't mean the same thing in different countries. Like for example, here in Germany, a lot of people buy a lot more expensive cameras than people back home in Bulgaria. But yeah, 300 euros is not that much for a camera like this, especially if you learn to use it properly. You can start making money directly out of this and start saving up then for a better camera that will suit your needs. What I mean by the fact that you have all you need to get going with this camera. First of all, it shoots RAW. Second of all, it has manual settings. It is, for example, 24 megapixels. A lot of cameras nowadays start from 24 megapixels, and I think that's the sweet spot. File sizes are not too big, but at the same time, You do get a lot of detail and quite nice looking images. Yeah, they do have some cool features, like this one has Wi-Fi, it has GPS, Bluetooth, remote control. Also, it does shoot video, but I do not recommend shooting video with older cameras. Basically, if you want to go with video, you would go in the mirrorless world, but that's another topic for another day. Yeah, let me show you something over here real quick. So, for example, you do have your settings, you have your shutter speed, ISO, and your f-stop. One cool feature that helped me learn in the beginning was this thing. When you change the f-stop, it actually literally shows you what you're doing to the camera. So this is really cool. It also has this thing over here. Just a second. Here over here, which basically shows you if the exposure is correct or not, and from there on it's pretty much just going out shooting and learning. Of course, you may watch tutorials for different types of shots. You may experience some limitations. This is the third point about these types of cameras, but I see these limitations as the best learning point of these cameras. Let's put it this way. Professional photographers have been making money and decent photos with cameras that had even less features than this thing over here, and this is an entry camera. They managed to overcome these limitations. Learning how to do this will definitely speed up your future work with a camera. You will not think that much about your settings. You will know exactly what to do. Also, the limitations are mainly in the like limit cases. Let's say shooting in really low light or shooting something really fast or something like that, but it depends on what you want to do. I do think that those cases are rare in the beginning, especially for a new photographer. Most likely you will never experience such cases, yeah. I will leave a link to this exact camera and the lens, as well as to some pictures. No, actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you some pictures with this camera. I've actually even printed out some of the pictures. You can check out my printing review video. You're gonna see some photos there. At least half of the photos that I'm actually showing were made with this camera. Because yeah, I've used it quite a lot, and to be honest, I've only rented better cameras when I actually needed them, because this was quite enough. Okay, I did have a lot of different lenses for this camera, but I did buy them over time. I didn't start with 6 lenses or something like that. I started just with 1 lens and then started slowly building up the lenses. I did sell most of them right now because I switched to Sony. Yeah, you can tell the difference by the quality in the videos, because this camera does not shoot 4K, sadly. So this is my take on how you can start learning photography with a cheap camera. Let me know down in the comments if you would like more beginner tutorials, like explanation on the exposure triangle and how to shoot different types of photography, how to get bokeh or something like that. I am thinking of making such videos, but if you have some topics that are interesting to you, let me know down in the comments. Since as most things, if you're not a beginner anymore, it's hard to remember what you struggled with exactly in the beginning. Oh yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you haven't done it, consider subscribing, hitting that bell icon. It doesn't hurt, it won't cost you anything, but it definitely makes it worthwhile for me to continue making videos. Thanks a lot for the support. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you on my other videos, guys. Bye!